Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Alexandra Lewis.
And I'm Kyle Clark. A teacher was stabbed outside an elementary school in Thornton this afternoon. Happened right after dismissal. Police say the suspect is in custody and the teacher is expected to survive.
9 News reporter Ria Jha has more on what we learned tonight.
This happened just after 3 p.m., right around dismissal. So people said this area was packed with students and parents picking up their kids. And again, this is a pre-K through 8th grade school. So a lot of younger kids around when this happened. Police have now arrested 31-year-old Damian Brooks for the stabbing of a male teacher here at the school off of Monroe Street. It happened near the basketball courts and playground area. The teacher was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. We have confirmed that Brooks lives directly across the street from the corner where this happened. A 6th grade student who saw this all unfold told me the teacher and Brooks were arguing before Brooks walked back across the street into his house and came back with a knife and stabbed the teacher multiple times. Neighbors said police are called to Brooks's home frequently, and we have also confirmed that he has an extensive criminal history, in one case serving time in prison for assault charges. Investigators say the attack appears to have been unprovoked and there's no known relationship between Brooks and the teacher. Thornton police says this is an active investigation, but right now there is no threat to the public. Even at the time, the school district says they never secured the perimeter or went into lockdown. Classes here will resume as normal tomorrow, and they will have counselors available for the students. Reporting in Thornton, Ria Jha, 9 News.
Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser is calling for Colorado to join the redistricting battle between red states and blue states. Weiser becomes the most prominent Democrat in the state to say that Colorado should redraw its congressional map in favor of Democrats if Republicans follow President Trump's direction to create more GOP seats in red states. Colorado's congressional delegation is currently split, 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans. Weiser says Colorado's actually bluer than that, and he says there's a way to redraw the maps to reflect that reality without almost totally boxing out the minority party, as is being suggested in some red states. Do you deny that that would be gerrymandering? It seems like you're trying to hedge between, like, well, we can redistrict to Democrats' advantage, but not really gerrymander.
So gerrymander is a term that hasn't had a precise definition.
Sure.
The closest you can say is, are you getting an extreme partisan advantage? And what I would say about Colorado right now, we are the opposite of a gerrymandering state. The Democratic majority with 4-4 in Congress looks like we're, how should we say it, leaving a lot on the table. We're actually bending over backwards to be super fair. And even if we go reasonable, it's going to be more of a blue state. The question that you're pushing is, how far do we go? And I agree with your point. We could go too far. I don't want to go too far, but I want us to be reasonable about it. And the key difference right now is, do we do a mid-cycle redistricting or not? I say yes, because others are doing it thinking they're going to get an advantage. If we don't do anything to match it, we're encouraging that behavior.
Weiser is calling for Coloradans to support a constitutional amendment in November of next year that would then allow the Democrat-controlled state legislature to draw district lines for 2028 and 2030, then use those partisan maps instead of going through Colorado's voter-approved, independent, nonpartisan redistricting.
Weiser's announcement comes as Virginia became the latest state to consider redrawing its congressional maps to favor one party. Democrats there are expected to call lawmakers back into session starting on Monday to redraw the state's congressional maps ahead of next year's midterms. It would take an amendment to Virginia's constitution to approve the new maps. An amendment requires both chambers to approve the measure twice. That means lawmakers would need to vote on the proposal before the November 4th election, and then they need to vote on it again in January. The amendment can then go before voters like it did in Texas and will in California. It comes one day after North Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature passed a new congressional map that aims to further boost the party ahead of next year's midterm elections. It was another gorgeous fall day across Denver. A new storm system is bringing some snow into the mountains tonight, along with the potential of rain in the metro.
Let's bring in 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi now for a look outside, and guess what? It's dark.
It is dark out there at the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels. Now, what you can't see here is that it is lightly snowing. Now, it's the bottom of your screen that I'm really looking at here, and there it is. But notice those roads, they're glistening. They are wet right now, keeping a very close eye on the tops of Vail Pass, Loveland Pass, Berthoud Pass, Rabbit Ears Pass, the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels. Right now, again, those roads glistening, that is what I care about, which means travel for now is on the okay side. I do expect some slick spots, especially after midnight. Right now, though, in the metro area, we just got a fair bit of cloud cover overhead, but nothing really coming from those clouds right now. All the action off to our south and our west. And we're seeing that rain and that mountain snow for us. Snow showers for us here in the high country. Not too much between Vail Pass and the tunnels. You get a little further south, we're seeing some more widespread snow from Aspen south towards Telluride, and some rain showers for us in southeastern Colorado. Temperatures right now mostly in the 40s, 50s. Next few hours, we'll have a chance for a shower or two for us here in Denver. But we've got a fairly cool day ahead for tomorrow before we warm right back up again. A full look at your forecast in just a few minutes.
Two of Colorado's Democrats in Congress are asking the FCC to reject a mega media merger that would put the parent company of Fox 31 in charge of 9 News. Congressman Joe Neguse and Senator Michael Bennet say the deal for Nexstar to buy Tegna, parent company of 9 News, would have quote-unquote devastating consequences for Colorado. If approved, the combined company would be able to reach more than 80% of TV households in America. That is double the limit currently allowed by federal law. Neguse and Bennet say the current cap retains local journalism jobs and that without it, quote, our media coverage will become more nationalized and local coverage will decrease. Nexstar's CEO has said that multiple stations in a single city will be combined.
New research is contradicting Denver Mayor Mike Johnston's claims about how data collected by license plate reading cameras is being used. Johnston unilaterally extended the city's contract to continue using the flock cameras into next year. That's despite objections from city council and community members over concerns of privacy and how immigration agents will use the data. In 3 separate interviews with 9 News, Johnston stated that no migrant in Denver has ever been identified or detained for civil immigration enforcement. But a new report released just this week from the University of Washington highlights issues with confirming that claim.
It's possible that nobody has ever been apprehended as a result of the use of flock LPR data, but it would be impossible to know that for sure. Because flock system doesn't provide you that. And the second reason is that ICE's own publicly available documents, or even privately available documents, like the records that they issue in cases where they apprehend someone, don't provide that level of detail of how they actually located the person.
The study has already prompted police departments to re-examine their policies. It also prompted Washington's Democratic governor to ask for an investigation into compliance with the state's immigration law.
One of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States.
Denver native and former NBA star Chauncey Billups is among the more than 24 people arrested in connection to massive illegal gambling schemes. Prosecutors accuse Billups of playing a role in getting rich people to play poker in rigged games.
9 News anchor Phil Lipoff is along now with details on this. And Phil, investigators saying this involved millions of dollars connected to the mob out of New York.
Kyla does, and the allegations are stunning. The scope is enormous, and the FBI says it has receipts. The investigation spanned 11 states, saw more than 30 people arrested. The charges obviously rocking the NBA specifically, but no doubt being felt all across professional sports tonight. 2 separate indictments, very different in nature. The first deals with what amounts to insider trading in the NBA, sort of a sports betting scheme. The second, which Billups is charged in, deals with illegal poker games. The FBI says in the first indictment, co-conspirators, including Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, disseminated non-public betting information through a network of people to place bets. In the second indictment, the FBI says illegal poker games were set up to bring in high rollers with the promise of playing with well-known stars like Billups. Then enter card counting machines and x-ray tables. They were used to cheat unsuspecting players out of their money. With Billups' deep ties to Colorado, he was the talk on sports radio today.
I'm shocked that there were these poker games going on. I'm shocked by video surveillance, and I'm shocked by all this other stuff. But you and I have been around the sports world a long time. I'm not terribly shocked that somehow we've got yet another gambling story popping up again.
So the Trailblazers put Billups on immediate leave. He is in his 5th season as Portland's head coach. He said nothing on his way out of federal court in Portland today, released with certain conditions like he had to turn over his passport and he can't have any contact with the others charged. He is set to be arraigned again in New York November 24th. Phil Lipoff, 9 News.
Phil, thanks. So Billups obviously considered a hometown hero here in Denver. He graduated from George Washington High School before he went on to play hoops at CU, spent 5 seasons with the Nuggets in 2 stints. And he's kind of ingrained in the basketball community here. The school, GW's dedicated their basketball courts to him. Principal told us today there's lessons to be learned.
The one thing that we always say for students is your choices do not tell who you are as a human being. We often give second chances, and in this case, we don't know yet. And so we'll wait and see the process, how it plays out.
So it's still early, too early to tell what happens with Chauncey Billups' court.